chat. So let's go ahead and get this kicked off. We have Young spawning up here in the top right position, playing the orange Terran pieces. And we have the Protoss player spawning down here with the teal colors is Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Wow. What a scary name.
Yeah,
I don't have anything insightful to say. Yeah, for a little bit.
Well, it is beneficial to have a very intimidating name.
Yeah, like Born Pawn Star. I mean, where does your name come from? Arctic Hydra?
Very, very cold and hydraless.
Wow, that's like the least intimidating name ever. Oh, hey, it's a TVP. Okay,
Yeah,
TVP
we don't see TVP too often. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think about TVP? I mean, okay, so here's the thing about what I think about matches. Okay, so since I'm a Terran player, I like TVZ, TVP, and TVT is okay. But I don't really like watching ZVP. But you like ZVP the most, don't you?
Yeah, I really enjoy ZVP. I think it's a very dynamic matchup. And also, it's really the only matchup Zerg gets to be sort of in control of.
Okay. So what do you think about TVP then? I mean, what do you think from like a spectator standpoint?
Well, TVP, I think in Starbo is a fair bit different, just because of the way the units move. And I think it's much easier for the Protoss player to control against the mech armies. I just recall like Dread of Brood War trying to move a Protoss army into a siege tank line was just disastrous. And I think it's a little easier for the Protoss player to control at a lower skill cap. I think it really brings accessibility to the game.
That's fair. Oh, Apocalypse always opens with this build. Okay, so Apocalypse, every single time I played against Apocalypse, he always opens with the Nexus first. And it's a pretty decent build, but I really don't like it on match point because it's a one-player map, so it's really easily scouted. So what you do, okay, if you're a Terran player and you see a Nexus first, one thing you could do is you could pull off like a ton of SCVs and get a bunch of Marines and your first Vulture and just move out there and attack. And also keep in mind Starbow, since you have the Tech Lab mechanic, you can get a Tech Lab on your rack on that Tech Lab and
You're cutting out, bud.
What's up?
I said you got very robotic on us. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, I got robotic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Terminator. You didn't know that? But no, that's essentially it, because, and the thing is, okay, if you look at Youngrustler's view, he knows about this too, so, I mean, he probably should be pressuring, and he's going for a Tech Lab on his barracks, but that's not going to finish in time for the factory. I mean, he could use that for, I don't know, maybe some, like, fire bats, but honestly, I don't think that's a good idea. I think just getting that Vulture out with mines would be the best thing to do, and to keep getting Marine production. Oh, but he's not going to do that, because he's going to go ahead and just...
Yep, doing the old switcheroo.
Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that kind of play. Youngrustler's has been around Starbow for quite a while, though, no?
Yeah, he's a pretty old player. No bunker here in the front either. I feel like if there was any pressure coming out, it could be pretty dangerous. But Apocalypse, of course, opening with that Nexus first. He's definitely safe. Doesn't have to throw it on the bunker as of yet.
Yeah, no, you absolutely don't want to get that bunker. That bunker would be a complete waste of investment. You definitely don't want to. And keep in mind, the only reason why you would ever get a bunker is if you wanted to defend against Dragoon range. And since he got the Tech Lab on the Brax, he doesn't need that because he's gonna get a siege tank anyways. And he's switching siege tech.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, because okay, if Apocalypse sniffs this out, I think the best thing that Apocalypse could do is just get a third base, and I think he'd be in a really good position.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and it is pretty important for Protoss to be active in looking for opportunities to get that third. You want to take it as fast and as safely as possible. I feel Protoss plays a lot like StarCraft 2 Zerg in that respect.
Yeah, it does, because, I mean, talk more coolness, and you want to make sure you have the thing that I don't like about playing PvT, because I do play a little bit of PvT every now and then, on a one-player map, it's really hard to expand away from the, like, there's, like, you're very limited in terms of the expansions you can take, because everybody knows what expansion you expect to take. Whereas in a four-player map, you can choose between going, like, in one direction or the other direction, if it's a four-player map. If you can catch my drift.
You know, that is, particularly for the way I play Zerg, that does come in handy. And I feel like if that's your play style, you really have to, two-player maps really force you to change things up and approach a different build.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in like TVZ too. Like you're really limited in terms of what you can take as a third base. Right? Am I wrong about that? I'm totally right about that. I'm never wrong.
Oh, sorry, I got some admin things going on. Go ahead and repeat that for me.
No. Yeah, because I mean, because you know, Arctic Hydra, the king of the forum post. I remember you talking more about like 4-player maps are preferable, or even 3-player maps, because you want to be able to take, at least in the TVZ matchup, you want to be able to expand in a certain corner, so you can get the low ground expansion as well as the high ground expansion. But when you're in a 2-player map like this, you're really limited in terms of where you can expand.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. And I feel like the map architecture for 2-player maps in Starbow tend to favor the race that would need to take that, that big macro play. Like in this matchup, the Protoss is really forced into that macro play element. It has map architecture that compensates them. So this base layout is very conducive to Reaver harassment. It's a long distance to defend this mineral line, to wrap all the way back around, and then defend this mineral line. But then when you see the map architecture of something like Fighting Spirit, it's a little more easier to defend on those maps. But at the same time, the macro player has compensation in that they do have those pocket bases if they take another base as their main base.
Oh, this is so weird. This is a really weird expansion. You don't want to take this base as a cross. And it got sniffed out really quickly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, Apocalypse is a good macro player, so if there's anything that's going to let him win the game, even if he makes bad decisions, his macro is pretty good. So he can get away with that. And I think he's like a Grandmaster player too, so if you're a StarCraft 2 Grandmaster player, chances are you don't really have a brain or a really good strategy, but you have really good mechanics.
Oh no, but these Dragoons are heading straight for the minefield with no observer tech. If he controls these well, he shouldn't lose any. Dragoons can kill mines.
He's going to lose some. Because those mines are so closely placed together.
Oh, they're really lucky. Oh, that one did get off. Oh my gosh. And losing that much shield and health is pretty dangerous because the push is coming up.
Dude, StarCraft 2 players, they have good mechanics, but they don't really understand the strategy of Brood War games that well. So that's just a perfect example of like that's crucial. Okay, that mine hit right there. If I was a Terran player, I would just move out and attack right now. Like that's a big juicy hit. And nice siege shake. The teachers are perfect. Oh, he didn't get the siege shake. He didn't set the siege shake. Okay, look, if you're a Protoss player and you move in to take that siege tank out, you better take it out. Honestly, like that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. It's really depressing to get the HP of a siege tank really low and then back out and not be able to do anything about it.
But he's doing exactly what he needs to. Oh no, he's kind of committing over to that engagement. Oh, what I was about to say, he was pushing up, forcing the siege, moving back a couple inches, forcing the Terran player to re-siege. It really slows down this push and allows the Protoss to get a different answer out. But that whole engagement was just so rough. I got some vultures coming up around the top side. Might look to slip into the base. We got a Zealot trying to run by and block. It does get the block, but the AI moves it forward, and oh no.
Bouncer Zealot, he's not going to get paid today. Terrible.
Nope.
That was his one and only job. Okay, so yeah, that vulture harassment's not going to do that much damage, but this is the reason why you don't want to expand down to the bottom, the 6 o'clock position as a Protoss, and for a few reasons. Number one, it leaves your natural expansion exposed, whereas you can just take the mineral only, or at least get the top left base. But if you expand in the 6 o'clock position, you're going to be on the low ground. So see the siege tanks right there? If they were sieged up in the ramp just above where the siege tanks currently are, there's really nothing Protoss can do.
Yeah, and I'm really questioning this siege tank positioning here. He is cutting in and preventing reinforcing of this base, but these siege tanks, if they set up slightly farther back, right here where I'm, of course you can't say, Born. Let me see if we can ping. Can we ping here? But yeah, if they were to set up back here, they do get a much better position. These forward siege tanks could be back up closer to this ramp with some siege tanks siege down here, and it creates a much tougher position to Protoss to crack because Protoss is able to come up this ramp and attack down this way. Of course, he has to clear through these mines first, but that's not too much of an issue. But this base is just getting pummeled.
Youngrustler on siege. He saw that attack coming in too, so I don't know why he did that. That was pretty dumb of him. But Apocalypse is going to back up now. He's going to try maybe do some kind of damage to the other siege tank line, or maybe or the alternate option is to move in here and lose all the units too.
I think I was checking for the third base there, but he just doesn't have the macro to keep up with his siege push. He took the risky position. He didn't want to have to deal with this one mine that was blocking this other gas expansion, and he knew anyone from Brood War knows that this type of siege tank push is just coming. It's bound to happen. It's a very easy push position for the Terran player right across this ridge, and he felt like he didn't prepare anything to defend this.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and honestly, this attack should never have happened in the first place, because expanding down to 6 o'clock was just probably the worst decision Apocalypse could have done in this game. Like, seriously, Apocalypse has good mechanics, but I don't really... Okay, if you've seen a Prods player take the 6 o'clock, he probably didn't play Brood War in 2009, 2010, where this map came out, or maybe he just didn't play a lot of Starbow, so that inexperience is really kicking him in the butt right now. Because I played against Apocalypse before, he does have good macro. And interestingly enough, he's going for a bunch of warp prisons. I don't really know why he wants to do that. But maybe, what I'm suspecting is maybe he might be going for warp gates, and he's going to try to warp it in multiple different areas.
Yeah, I've seen this from him before. He really does this big doom drop into the main anytime he gets behind. Sometimes he'll even swap to dropping DTs. Of course, Brood Warrior is a fairly easy way of dealing with this. You just put a bunch of mines in your own base with some missile turrets. Stops the warp in from, or recall from the arbiters, or any drop from the warp prisms.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I don't think it's going to work that well, though. I would actually prefer if the warp prisms were just using in tandem with warp gate. I think that'd be really sick.
And that's something we really don't see utilized too often, is the warp gate technology.
Yeah, we really don't. It's a real
In fact,
shame.
I don't even remember where the tech is now. Oh, it's on the Twilight Council.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so anyways, back to this game though. If I were the Terran player, I would be feeling very, very comfortable. Because number one, I'm tied in terms of the number of bases against the Protoss player. Actually, you can't even say that because, oh, actually Apocalypse didn't take the top left because there's a mine blocking it. So Terran's up 3 bases to 2. And he's going to be up on 3 bases while the opponent's going to be on 2 bases for quite a long time. So number one, you don't want to be, okay, if you were Apocalypse, you'd want to be at 4 bases all mining right now. And the fact that he's not doing that is really, really bad. And if you look at the food count too, Terran actually has more food than a Protoss player, and that should never happen. Protoss should always be ahead in terms of the food count.
Yes, this is a very tough position for our Protoss player. He really needs to find a way to stall the game out to enable him to get up that base count, get back into the game. He is starting the Arbiter tech, so he's doing all the right things that he needs to do to get back in this game. I just feel like he needs to take a bigger risk, possibly taking this top center expansion as his 4th base. Another thing to note, though, he's not as behind as one would think because of this base situation, because this is not a gas base, and mech is very gas heavy. So all of these minerals are mostly funding vultures and perhaps a little bit of Goliath production. So in terms of tank numbers, Terran is still essentially on 2 bases.
I mean, that's a pretty fair argument, but in the end, though, the economy is still going to be way higher for Terran no matter what. Honestly,
Oh, drop harass with a siege tank and a couple of Goliaths up here in the top, on that top base.
Yeah, nice little drop. It's gonna pull away some units away from.
It's pulling the whole army back.
Yeah, that's a pretty. That's definitely an overreaction, but I mean, well, there's really nothing else his main army could do. But if Youngrustler can sniff this out, then he could possibly move.
I think he knows. He is moving up. He's going to take a more aggressive position on the map.
Yeah, this is really nice.
And
Honestly, if he gets in a good position, he could win. He could instantly win the game.
And I think that's exactly what he's looking for. He's setting up the mines along the top, and it looks like he's going to try and push down this low area and up this ramp. And there's just not anything here for the Protoss to deal with it. He's going to have to go through this big minefield.
Oh, he drops zealots on top of the siege tanks, but you want to do that when the siege tanks are sieged up. So that drop ended up hurting him more than helping. And yeah, that's it. Youngrustler's gonna win this. There's no way Apocalypse can win this.
Although, is there any, no, Storms aren't even researched. That's why he morphed the Archons. Archons are not that effective in Terran versus Protoss because the Vultures here, you can see they do 22 damage. And that's full damage to shields as well as the splash. Archons just get blown up so quickly. And this is such a strong position here.
And the thing is, you don't want to get Archons because they're not good against Vultures. Vultures actually do the full amount of damage to their shields, despite the Archon being a large unit.
And of course, EMP is a thing for the Terran army. And EMP just doesn't do 100 damage like it does in StarCraft 2. It takes away all the shields.
Hell yeah. That's how you balance it.
Apocalypse, though, is not going out of this game lightly. Still producing a good bit of units. I'm interested to see what map he goes to. With his big macro style, I suspect he moves to a 4-player map coming up on the next game.
Definitely circuit breakers if you want to play like this.
High Sparrow is also a very big macro map, even larger than Circuit Breaker.
Oh, is that you? Nice Sparrow?
I don't know who made it, but it's pretty big. Oh, that one Hero Zealot just taking out so many tanks. But it doesn't even matter. Look at the reinforcements streaming across the map.
Yeah, man. That's the value of that third mineral base. Never underestimate the power of vultures. They're a pretty good unit.
And it's not just vultures too. We got some siege tanks moving up behind that.
Yeah. It's over. It's done.
Protoss has hold off that first push for now, but he really has nothing to do with this, follow-up push that's coming up. Losing this base is just going to be so detrimental. The SCVs are already transferring over to the force base for the Terran player.
Yeah.
And what do you think has brought about this? What defining moment in this game that really turned the game against Apocalypse here?
Taking the 6 o'clock base, like by far. That 100% is because of that. 100%. Because that's a base you never want to take. That 6 o'clock expansion is the one base you take last. You never take that base first, unless you're trying to hide it.
And I do have to compliment Young on being able to recognize the position of that base and set up a very effective push. If we can see where all these spider mines have been placed throughout the game, you can see they've always been placed in positions that ward off the flank of the Terran army as he advances on a big, long, slow push down to that bottom 6 o'clock position.
Yeah, to be honest, to be fair, that's a perfectly good argument. That honestly, Youngrustler really won that because he scouted so soon. I mean, I think he scouted before he even got saturation. So
yeah, there's no
really,
probes there at all.
Because it could have worked. It could have worked if Apocalypse got away with it, and it could have helped him greatly. But yeah, actually, that's actually major props to Youngrustler. So I don't know what skill level Youngrustler is, but apparently, according to what I'm seeing right now, he's pretty good.
Let's check the APM tab.
Yeah, he's Masters level for sure.
And both these players are very evenly capped. So this isn't like one player is just rolling over the other player due to a skill imbalance. Both these players have played against each other in the past and are fairly evenly skilled. Oh no, all of the High Templar are just getting took down. Good Storm though. Doesn't matter though. Terran just has so much stuff coming behind it. That was just the first wave.
Yeah. Vultures are so cost efficient that even if you kill so many of them with one storm, it's not always that big of a deal. Oh, stasis.
Oh, good stasis though.
A little too late.
Yeah, stasis is the great equalizer for the Protoss army. Protoss just can't take a mech army with its tier 1 units head on. It's way too inefficient. Definitely needs the stasis to be able to close things out. But GG gets called. And Youngrustler takes game 1.